Hey there, welcome back to Badass Business Planning. We are still here in Module 1 where we're talking about the planning process kind of at a high level. And here in Lesson 3, we're going to start to get more kind of nuts and bolts and talk about what you're trying to create, what it is that you're trying to do in the business planning process. And we talked in the last lesson about the reasons why you need to plan and about part of what you're doing is really thinking through your unique talents and your audience and your niche and then combining that all into a unique whole. Well, that's kind of the process and part of the reason, but here in this lesson, we're actually going to be walking through a canvas, a visual canvas that we've created. So if you are someone who's listening to the audio feed of this course, this is a lesson where you will want to go back and either watch the video or at least download the canvas. And for everybody, there is a downloadable canvas, the PDF we're going to be talking about, that is downloadable here on this page within BOMU. So, what we did, and let me give you a little bit of background here. There is a tool that bigger businesses use called the Business Model Canvas. And it's something that's taught. The idea behind it is that it's a way for you to really kind of visualize the different aspects of your business in one page. That really is the idea, is that you can kind of see how your business and all the different things that come together for your business in one page. Now, the difficulty with the business model canvas is that there's a lot of stuff in there that isn't really directly relevant to us. And what I mean by that is there's things like key activities and key resources that really those are meant to be thinking about for a much bigger business. And so if you think about it, if you're building some businesses, understanding the different activities that you need to engage in will be very different than with us because they have to think about manufacturing, logistics, sourcing, things like that that just don't apply to us as people building businesses based upon our knowledge and know-how. So that's part of the problem. Now, if you're aware of the lean startup model, which is a model that was built for tech entrepreneurs and tech startups, someone took the business model canvas and modified it to call it the lean canvas. And it's simplified and put together in a different way and really focusing on your tech startup. And so that was kind of a first iteration that's useful, but again, has things that aren't really relevant to us as knowledge brands. And so we internally on my team wanted to come up with a canvas that we could use. And separately, as an aside, part of the problem with those other two canvases is they're kind of built in a way that once they're put together, it's great. You can really see how it all fits together, but it's not put together in a way that you would logically fill it out in any kind of order. And so even figuring it out can be very confusing for people. And we didn't want that. So we wanted to create a model that would help you really kind of go step by step through the planning process so that you will have done the work you need. So with that, let's take a look at the knowledge brand canvas. Now, this is something I said that we created for brands like ours who are building businesses based on their know-how and expertise to build a business plan from scratch. Now, as you look at this, you'll see that we've kind of created different silos or different columns. You have your uniqueness, which is about things that are unique to you, your abilities, etc. Then we have your niche, and that's about your customers, your audience, where you're going to do the work to really understand them in the market research that we talked about in the last lesson. Then the last column is your solution. And that's where you kind of take what you've learned, take the work you've done in the other two columns and kind of put it together into a plan. And so that's what this is meant to do. Now, just so that we're clear, because I said part of what we wanted to do was make it very clear how you would use this. So in this canvas, you're going to start on the left and go to the right. So you're going to fill out your uniqueness first, then you're going to do your niche, and then finally you're going to do your solution. Luckily, this course is set up in that order. So module 2 is about your uniqueness, like what makes you you. Then we're going to have your niche in module 3, where we'll talk about picking your niche, but then doing the work within it. And then finally, your solution is module 4. So we have built the course to help you kind of go through it. Now, also, within each one of the columns, you're going to go from top to bottom. So that will help you understand kind of generally how you're working through this. Now, you'll notice one little caveat I want to point out is the core differentiator box, which is at the bottom but spans your uniqueness and your niche. You're not going to fill that out until you've done everything else in your uniqueness and your niche. Then you'll fill that out. And that's really about understanding, like once you've thought through all those things, what is the key or what are the key things that make your business different from your competitors? So that's kind of how you're going to use this canvas. Now, the goal here, like I said, is to help make this simple. Now, in future lessons, we're going to talk about each one of those boxes. This was simply meant as a chance for you to understand this. I want to give you a caveat though. Depending on your business, there's a good chance that you may need multiple versions of this. And what I mean is, if you're serving multiple customer segments who have different problems and things like that, and we'll get into this really in the when we talk about your niche, I could see that you might need to have different versions to really kind of address those different parts or different people that you will be serving in your business. The idea, though, is to really give you this framework to do the planning process. Now, again, as I said, in this lesson, you can go ahead and download a PDF version that is fillable if you want to fill it. But if you don't want to fill it, you could take this and download it and simply do the planning process by, creating individual fillable pieces on future pages. That's up to you. The point of this, though, is to give you a matrix and give you a way to go through the planning process in an order that makes sense. So that's the canvas. Now, in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about the biggest mistake that a lot of people make in the planning process, which is overthinking things. And so I'm going to talk about why you don't want to do that. And I'm going to give you some parameters about how long should it take you to do this work. So that's what we're talking about in the next lesson. I will see you there.